Okay guys, I'm going to show you the very basics of understanding masks in Photoshop and how they work. First with a simple example, and then move into a real image that we'll play around with using masks so you can see how they work and how they also are applied. I'll also leave some links in the description below that'll help you on your journey to getting better, and some free actions as well that'll help make masks for you. Okay, so what I have here is a very simple layout. I got a red image on one layer and a yellow image on the bottom layer. Because the image that's red is on top, you can't see the yellow image that's underneath. And the way to reveal that by using masks is to come and create a mask. So click on the new mask icon and it'll load it in as a white mask. White will reveal, black will conceal. So this white mask is revealing the top layer at 100%. If I come in with my brush tool, B for your brush tool, over here you got your palette. I've got grey and white. If I want to set that to black and white, I hit D on my keyboard to set my default colours, and you can hit X to toggle between black and white. So because we've got a white layer, I need to paint with black. So when you hit B for your brush tool, up the top here, you'll have your opacity. That's the opacity of your brush, and over here will show you the hardness of your brush. So you can set it really hard or really soft, so you've got a really hard or feathered edge. When you're doing masking, I'd really recommend that you use more of a feathered edge than a hard edge when you're basically painting. So with your opacity, you can hit 1 on your keyboard to make it 10%, 3 to 30, 7 for 70, or if you want to go back to 100, you just type in 100. So we're going to paint at 100% on the white mask with black. So as I come through, white will reveal the red, black will conceal the red. So that's why the yellow is coming through. Now, if I wanted to basically change that, you hit Command I and it'll invert the mask. So now white will reveal the red at 100%, black will conceal, showing the yellow layer that's underneath through. So now if I come through with my paintbrush, painting 100% black, I can actually remove that red, or if I change to white, I can start to re-add more red in, painting on that layer. So basically with masking as well, you can use your paintbrush, but it's anything that will apply black and white or grey to the mask will help reveal parts of the image. So to see your mask, you hold down the Option key and click on the mask. Or if you actually want to turn the mask off, hold down the Shift key and click on the mask and it will turn the mask on and off. If I delete that mask and I want to load in a black mask to start with, you hold down the Option key and click on your new mask icon and it'll load it in as a black mask. Because it's coming as black, black will conceal, so it's hiding the red at 100%. So let's grab our gradient tool, come over here, and we want to set, it's actually set to black, we want to set that to white. Click OK. On the black mask, if I come down with the gradient tool, you can see that it's painted white up the top, fading through to grey to black. So that's why you see that nice even transition through. So it goes from basically really red, coming through with 50% grey, so it's coming out as more of an orangey sort of colour, into the yellow. So if I come down and drag it down even more, you can see how the adjustment starts to come through. I'll delete that. Don't apply your mask, because if we actually did that, delete your mask, and you hit apply, it actually adds it to that layer, and it's hard embedded into that part of your image. The good thing with masks is that they're not actually destructive to the layer that you're working on. You can always delete the mask and restart from scratch. And this is really good because a lot of the time you might be doing masking and you'll be painting and you've made some errors and you think, oh, how do I fix that? Don't worry about fixing it. Just recreate another mask and just restart Happens all the time, and it's not something that you need to worry about. Just create a new mask. So those are the basics of how masking works. White reveal, black will conceal, and all shades of grey. So now if we jump into a real application with an image, and this will be a very typical shot that photographers will do where they're basically doing an exposure bracket. So this image is a photo targeting the highlights. So it's quite dark in the foreground and all the shadow areas, where this image here is more for the foreground shadow areas, but not so much for the highlights. So you want to basically blend these two images together. So basically we're going to just drag this out, hold down the Shift key, drag and drop. So now we've got this as layers. So I'll just close this one here. So the darker image is on top with the bottom image at the bottom. So quite often we'll come in, we'll just add our mask, B for our brush tool. And this is a common thing that you'll see that beginners will make when they do luminosity masking. So we're going to paint 100% black on our white mask to reveal the bottom layer. So they come through and they paint. You might see them do a bit of a highlight adjustment there where it's bleeded in. Drop their brush down and they'll come in and they'll paint the headland in as close as they can get it. But look what they've done. And you see this quite often. And you'll see this funny haloing around there. It's just because it's just been a bad selection. So we just delete that mask, because the good thing about masks is they're non-destructive to your layer. Delete. Now what we can do, very simple, we're going to come in, select our channel, hold down the Command key, click on RGB, and this is going to make a luminosity selection, a lights 1 mask. And it's all based on the brightness of the pixel value in your image. Now we're just going to come down and click on the mask icon, and it's going to load that in as a lights 1 luminosity mask. If I hold down the Option key and I click on the mask, you can see how it's got the exact same concept as what we had here. White will reveal, black will conceal. When you look at the mask and then you look over here, this is just a complex version of this. That's all it is. And basically you're just using Photoshop to do the selection for you. So again, white will reveal, black will conceal, and all shades of grey. So it's basically white will reveal this top layer, black will conceal this layer, and that's why you get nice tonal value in your image and it's giving protection to everywhere else. Now, if you want to expand this further and you just say, look, I like the luminosity in the water here, you can then quite easily come in, white will reveal, black will conceal. B for your brush tool, painting black on the mask at 100%, and you're coming through and you're just painting in extra brightness because you're hiding the top layer, revealing the bottom layer at 100%. So you can come in, Option click onto your mask, and you can see your transition. So this might be a bit of a harder transition that you don't like. So you can come in, hit 3 on your keyboard, and you're painting at 30% opacity, and you can just come in and feather that in. Just double click and click over it, and just get that feathering nice. Click on your image and you can sort of see what you're doing. Click your mask on and off, will hide it, or click on the eyeball and you can sort of see the effect of your blend that you've done through those images. Now with your luminosity mask, what you can do as well is you can come in into your channel, reload your masking in again, hold down the Command key and click. You can add that to a curve adjustment layer. So it's the same mask. Click on your curve and you're just going to be adding contrast to the highlight elements of your image. But you're not really affecting the darker areas because it's concealing that. White reveal, black will conceal. And you're just adding a tonal range to that. Now, if you wanted to make a mask that's going to select the shadow areas of this image, we can do that easily as well. Again, come into your channels, load in your channel, come into a curve. Now this is a lights 1 luminosity mask. Command I to invert that mask now turns this into a darks 1 luminosity mask. So now you can come into your curve, lift it up, pull it down, and now it's adjusting brightness and contrast to the shadow areas of your image. So if we zoom in, see how it's just basically affecting that. Okay guys, so that's the foundations of using masks in Photoshop. As you can see at the beginning, grossly painting, revealing the red and the yellow, then moving into the image where we used a luminosity mask that was extremely easy to create. A lot of people are scared by the term luminosity mask and go, oh, I don't know how to do that. But you saw, all we did is load in the Lights 1 luminosity mask using the channels and applying it to our layer. And we got that really nice natural blend through the image. And these sort of principles are the foundation of doing things like exposure blending, focus stacking, or shutter blending. And I'll leave a link to that tutorial here for you to have a look at. But with masks as well, you don't have to just select the luminosity value. You can also go in and select the color as well and make a mask based on color. So with an image like this, you could go in and say, I only want to select the red and make adjustments to the red parts of the image, even though that red might have the same brightness or luminosity as some of the blues, you can just target the reds. If you want to see a tutorial on that, I'll leave a link here for you as well. All right guys, if you like tutorials like this, give us a like, subscribe to the channel. Got a comment, leave it down below, and I'll see you in the next tutorial.